Welcome back. This week, the New York State Council on Divorce Mediation will have its 30th annual conference in Saratoga Springs. Bobby Dillon is the organization's president, a mediator, and trainer for the Mediation Center located in Pittsford, New York, out by Rochester. Welcome to Look News.
Thank you, Dave.
Welcome to the Tri-Counties as well. We appreciate
beautiful
you
area,
by.
Beautiful day.
And you've got some great weather for your conference. I guess the best place to start is what divorce mediation is, if a lot of people perhaps don't know what it is.
Sure. So there are lots of options when families are considering going through separation or a divorce. And divorce mediation is an alternative that allows people to make the decisions, retain control of the decisions and the outcomes that they're making. They work with a neutral third party who is trained in conflict resolution, who provides information, facilitates the conversation, helps them to manage strong emotions as they arise, and end up with a written agreement covering all the substantive areas: parenting, property, support. And we really believe it's the preferred option for couples who are thinking about divorce because they really get to retain control of those decisions and outcomes.
You know, for a couple of reasons, this seems like it's taking, and obviously divorce is a stressful time, there are a lot of emotions involved. It seems like it's helping to take that component out of it somewhat, though.
It really does. Oftentimes when people are facing separation and divorce, there's so many unknowns, and it's a really fearful time. And being able to sit in a room with someone who's experienced, who can help to guide people through the process, and being able to talk directly to one another to understand what is it that you want as an outcome and why is that important to you and your family can really help, not just at the time of divorce, but going forward, because you have an understanding of the agreements you reached and why you ended up where you did.
Yeah, one of the things I was thinking of, for a lot of these people, it's probably the first time that they've interacted with a lawyer or a judge or a court system, and the strain that must put, you know, nearly 950,000 divorces annually, the strain that must put on our legal system, but also for somebody who's never dealt with this process before.
Absolutely. If people choose the old-fashioned way of getting a divorce where you have two adversarial attorneys, you're sort of sitting in the background allowing other people to make the decisions and choices for you. And if it actually does end up in a court trial, you're really handing over all of the control because the judge will tell you what's going to happen. And so it really is, you know, the difference between going through that frightening, often elongated experience. Average litigated divorce is an 18-month process versus mediating your divorce where you set the timetable and you decide how quickly or slowly you want to make these decisions and move through this. And many couples are done within 2 to 3 months, and they can move forward and start the healing that they need to do as a family.
It seems like cost is a big factor here. You say when you're going through the legal system and your lawyers are going back and forth with each other, obviously they're charging by the hour, and it's probably a very expensive route to go that way. Talk to me about the cost savings if you do mediation.
Absolutely. So the couple is making the decisions with the assistance of the mediator, and they're sharing the cost of one professional rather than paying two separate fees for two separate attorneys. At the end of the process, they do need to work with an attorney to finalize the agreement and file it for them, but they would experience those costs regardless of the process that they chose. So in addition to, you know, the positives of being able to communicate directly with one another through a difficult time, it really does save time and money.
You know, something popped in my head. If you have this mediator, this one person representing both interests, how does that one person stay neutral in this process?
That's a great question, and actually one of our presenters is going to be talking about that very issue at our conference this weekend. It really is, I think, the role of the mediator to support both parties. We're not advocating for anyone. We're there to support each person in gaining clarity about what are their goals and what are the outcomes that they would like to see, and hopefully allowing the other person to hear that perspective and take that into consideration. I always think that when I'm mediating, I'm working for the whole family, and that's what I'm really there to support, a good outcome for the whole family going forward, because even though they're experiencing a divorce, they're still mom and dad very often, and the family continues for the rest of those children's lives, and so it takes a different form, but the family is still there.
Yeah, let's talk about the whole family, because we've been, you know, concentrating on these two people that are deciding that they want to split up and go in different directions. But obviously there's so many other people affected by this, the children first and foremost, but other relatives as well that are watching these people go through this painful process.
Absolutely. The whole reason I became a mediator was because of children, and I recognized that people are going to get divorced. It's a normal part of our culture, and so I really wanted to be able to help to support people in a compassionate way through this process so that they could, instead of becoming adversarial and enemies and having that spill over to their children, they would really be able to be present for their kids. And we know that the most damaging effect for children is long-term exposure to parental conflict, whether parents stay married or get divorced. So if they can have those important conversations they need to, they can reach resolution, and then they can be present for their children and allow their kids to be kids.
Are we finding across the state there's more mediators? Is it a growing sector in the divorce field, I guess?
Absolutely. There's really a strong trend, particularly in New York State, toward more collaborative processes. So mediation has been happening. We're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, and it's becoming more mainstream. When I first started doing it, people weren't quite sure what it was about. Now very often couples will come in and say, well, my coworker told me, or one of my friends got divorced and they used mediation, and it was really a better option for them. And so I do believe it's really expanding.
Yeah, your 30th annual conference happening in Saratoga Springs starting tomorrow, running through the weekend. What have you got on tap for that?
Well, we have some national speakers coming in. Tomorrow we're going to be having a pre-conference institute with Bill Eddy. He's a national expert on high conflict couples and how to work effectively with them. People often think, well, we can't mediate if we have high conflict. Really, you can. It might take a little longer, but it can also help to really diminish that high conflict situation. Chip Rose is also coming in. He's going to be talking about the stresses and strains that couples are facing today, particularly in light of the economy and some of those issues. And then we have a variety of other programs going on the financial impact of divorce, child support. We have a speaker coming in on domestic violence, so a wide variety of issues that impact and affect families.
Well, enjoy your time in Saratoga.
Thank
we appreciate
you.
you stopping by. Such a fascinating topic that we really didn't know a lot about.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate you stopping by. Bobby Dillon, the president of the New York State Council on Divorce Mediation.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks so much. Now, to find out more about Bobby Dillon and divorce mediation, head for our website, looktvonline.com. We've posted all the information right there for you.